Hi, my name is Alex. So I'm reading a book called Priest Daddy by Patricia Lockwood. It was so hard to pick a favorite book, and I don't know that this is like my favorite of all time, but in my life outside of film, I write a lot of personal essay for magazines like Salon and things like that, and so what I read is mostly like memoir, personal essay type stuff. So this was one that really kind of influenced me as a writer, just her style. She's hilarious, but also she succeeds in being hilarious, but also touching and just skillful with her writing at the same time, and I think that's really remarkable, and it won a bunch of awards. So this passage is from chapter 6 entitled Dinner with the Bishop. Okay. There is always someone in a writer's family who is funnier and more original than she is. Someone for her to quote and observe, someone to dazzle and dumbfound her, someone to confuse her so much she has to look things up in the dictionary. That would be my sister Mary, whom I worship as people used to worship the sun. Every time I tried to capture her and force her into my private zoo of description, I fail. I have on different occasions and in different moods described her as a tricked out club Chewbacca, a highly literate female Tarzan, and a jaguar who went through human puberty. One thing is certain, she is straight out of nature. She speaks a made-up language largely consisting of the words a and bay in various combinations, interspersed with nuanced and meaningful growls. She's always wearing a tiny fur vest of some kind. If I tracked her through the woods on a snowy night, I'm sure that she would leave paw prints. The first time she ever saw a T-Rex skeleton in a museum, she stared at it with passionate attraction. I'm surprised she didn't try to climb up into its ribcage and hang there as its heart. She whispered in a voice full of emotion, it's just a little bay. That's my passage. I think there are a lot of books out there about growing up, memoirs about growing up in kind of highly controlled religious, family backgrounds. And some are great, some are not. I think this one's great because it's about more than that. And it's not, I think a lot of those books can sometimes end up being trauma porn, and this is not like that at all. It has, it touches on serious things, but just the way, what I love is how she describes people and her family members. And even though like her dad is a maniac, but there's just still this love and generosity that she gives to even characters who other writers I don't think would be as generous with, that I found really touching and really influenced me in writing about my own family, especially those who I have issues with. I think it's very easy to write about someone from a hateful perspective, but you fail to capture the nuances of their of them as a human if you do that. I think you have to kind of have that generosity to be able to really capture them fully and in an interesting way, and I think she succeeds in doing that. And she's funny, which always helps. Okay.
I'm Ryan Bronson. Today I am reading The Hobbit. Let me think about this, because I got something good here. I read it in 6th grade, and it means a lot to me. I think that in terms of escapism and fiction, it's some of the best stuff that's ever been written. And it also has sort of the Christian morals of J.R.R. Tolkien. And I think those two things combined means a lot to me personally. And it helped me through some tough times in my life. So. Smaug certainly looked fast asleep, almost dead and dark, with scarcely a snore more than a whiff of unseen steam, when Bilbo peeped once more from the entrance. He was just about to step out onto the floor when he caught a sudden thin and piercing ray of red from under the drooping lid of Smaug's left eye. He was only pretending to sleep. He was watching the tunnel entrance. Hurriedly, Bilbo stepped back and blessed the luck of his ring. Then Smaug spoke. "Well, thief, I smell you and I feel your air. I hear your breath. Come along, help yourself again. There is plenty and to spare." But Bilbo was not quite so unlearned in dragon lore as all that, and if Smaug hoped to get him to come nearer so easily, then he was disappointed. "No, thank you, O Smaug the Tremendous," he replied. "I did not come for presents. I only wished to have a look at you and see if you were truly as great as the tales say. I did not believe them." "Do you now?" said the dragon, somewhat flattered, even though he did not believe a word of it. "Truly, songs and tales fall utterly short of the reality, O Smaug, the chiefest and greatest of calamities," replied Bilbo. "You have nice manners for a thief and a liar," said the dragon. "You seem familiar with my name, but I don't seem to remember smelling you before. What are you and where do you come from, may I ask?" "You may indeed. I come from under the hill, and under the hills and over the hills my paths led, and through the air I am he that walks unseen." "So I can well believe," said Smaug, "but that is hardly your usual name." "I am the clue finder, the web cutter, the stinging fly. I was chosen for the lucky number." "Lovely titles," sneered the dragon, "but lucky numbers don't always come off." "I am he that buries his friends alive and drowns them and draws them alive again from the water. I came from the end of a bag, but no bag went over me." "These don't sound so creditable," scoffed Smaug. "I am the friend of bears and the guest of eagles. I am ring winner and luck wearer. I am barrel rider," went on Bilbo, beginning to be pleased with his riddling. "That's better," said Smaug, "but don't let your imagination run away with you." This, of course, is the way to talk to dragons, if you don't want to reveal your proper name, which is wise, and don't want to infuriate them by a flat refusal, which is also very wise. No dragon can resist the fascination of riddling talk and of wasting time trying to understand it. There was a lot here which Smaug did not understand at all, though I expect you do, since you know all about Bilbo's adventures, to which he was referring. But he thought he understood enough, and he chuckled with his wicked smile. Thank you. It is, at its heart, sort of a kid's book, but it is not only for kids. It is very fantasy and fun and hopeful and lighthearted, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, thank you.